I have been issued a challenge. My coworker Steven and I are going to grab 2 Magic the Gathering Pre-Con Commander decks off the shelves, get $50 each to upgrade them, and battle it out to see which one prevails. My coworker Steven, right here, has already picked out his Commander deck. What do you got for me?
I picked the Food and Fellowship Pre-Con from the Lord of the Rings Universes Beyond set.
All right, that's pretty good. I was thinking about grabbing that one, but now, now that I know which one Steven's grabbed, I'm going to go ahead and find one, spend some time upgrading it with a $50 budget, and we'll see which one's better. Good luck, Steven. I'll see you in a bit. All right, so we're here at Cards HQ. We're heading over to the Magic product aisle. We've got 2 different showcases for our Magic the Gathering Pre-Con Commander deck selections. We've got one here that features the more new sets. You'll see up here, you've got Tarkir Dragonstorm. We have all but one of them. We're out of the Teamer deck. Those are pretty spicy because all those different wedges from the Tarkir plane are all so strong. And now, knowing that Steven is playing Food and Fellowship, that is a pretty strong deck out of the gate, because he's playing a lot of cards that can give him benefit off of creating and sacrificing food tokens, while also having a bunch of little weenies, even in the form of his commanders. Both of them are so low to the ground that he's going to be able to flood the board. So I'm thinking we only have $50 to upgrade our deck, right? So in order to capitalize on the format, we need to be playing something that can match how many tokens he's going to be making, while also not being too complicated. A pre-con that I'm a big fan of that I think is kind of underrated is the Tricky Terrain deck here from Modern Horizons 3. Tricky Terrain has a lot of really cool strategies involving your lands. You turn your lands into every land type and you generate value off of that. There's a lot of lands and cards that care about having multiple different land types on your board, but that's a little unoptimized for 2-player Commander. I think where I'm leaning towards is it's going to be one of our Mardu decks. So it's either going to be the Tarkir Dragonstorm Mardu deck. That one seems pretty strong. You can make a lot of tokens and sacrifice them when you're done attacking for value. And then also the other Mardu option we have is going to be the Hail Caesar Commander deck from the Fallout Universes Beyond set. One of my favorite things about Caesar is he's this really strong value commander in Mardu, which they don't have too many of. Basically everything that Mardu wants to do, Caesar can do. Okay. All right. I think we gotta go for Hail Caesar. And the reason being is because Caesar has an on-attack trigger. Whenever you attack, you can sacrifice one of your creatures, whether it be a card that you played or it's a token, it doesn't matter. And when you do that, you get really powerful abilities. This is every turn. And not only that, Caesar himself is only 4 mana. I think that's pretty strong. So we're gonna go ahead and lock in our choice for Hail Caesar, and we're going to get $50 to upgrade this. We'll see what we can do. All right, so we've got $50 to work with, which means our first stop is going to be our high value Magic showcases. Most of these cards are going to be out of our budget, but there are a few key cards that I wanna take a look at. Because we're in white, red, and black, we have 3 different showcases that we're going to take a look at, just in case we can find some juicy $10 cards that might give us a leg up against Steven. If we take a look in the white card showcase here, we've got 3 different ones that call to me. We've got Halo Fountain here, which has a potential alternative win con if we get enough tokens out. We're going to be playing a token strategy, which is exciting. So Halo Fountain could be a cheeky alt win con if we want it to be. And then if we go a few cards over to the right, we have Voice of Victory. Voice of Victory is going to shut down any of the interaction that Steven may have on our turn and let us build a big board that can hopefully swing towards Steven and get the win from him that way. And the last card, the one that's the real spice but is going to take up a lot of our budget, is going to be this Clarion Conqueror here. Clarion Conqueror is going to turn off all of his food tokens, but the card is a fair bit pricey. That's going to be over half of our budget if we go for that copy and we don't have a cheaper one. So maybe not on that one, but it is an idea. In the black showcase, I see 2 cards that could be interesting. Right down here, we've got a Bastion of Remembrance, which could be a really interesting choice if we're trying to consistently build on the value engine we're getting with Caesar. We're going to be dealing a lot of damage to Steven's life. That doesn't count as damage because it's life loss, so that could be relevant if he's playing a bunch of food token strategies. The next card that I'm interested in right here, Mahat's Feathers Knight. His deck is already pretty low to the ground, but we could get some value in reducing all of his creatures' toughness down to 1. That means that every single thing that he tries to block us with is going to die from our tokens. That one seems really strong, but in order to maximize its value, we would have to draw it. So let's go take a look at the red showcase to see if we can find any way to get that card into our hand faster. All right, going over to the red showcase, we don't see too many things that are within our budget, but we do need to consider Screaming Nemesis. Screaming Nemesis is going to be really big for us if we can deal damage to Steven even one time, because that card has the incredibly powerful ability to completely turn off his life gain. That being said, it's a third of our budget. I don't know if we can justify that, especially for a card that's only going to be 1 in 99 cards in our main deck. However, there is a card in the showcase that I am considering but might be a little bit of a risk, and that's because that's in the name. It's called Gamble. If we take a look right down here, Gamble is a really good tutor, but it comes with the downside of you have to discard 1 card from your hand. And if you do that, it could be the card that you added because it's random. And we don't want to accidentally spend 20% of our whole budget on a card that will hopefully get us one of our big game-ending cards, and then all of a sudden we discard it. So I'm not too sure about that. I wish we could make room for Screaming Nemesis, but I think we're gonna have to go for some more valuable, cheaper cards in our value bins first. That being said, I'm sold on Mahat, so we're going to go ahead and grab that one. All right, so we took some time to look through the value bins here at the store, and I found some interesting cards that should help us out. First off, we've got the Wandering Emperor. She has a couple really powerful loyalty abilities that we can activate at flash speed as long as it's the turn that we've cast her. She can make tokens, she can act as removal. There's a lot of different utility modes that we can use here that will allow us to get the upper hand against Steven. A couple of the other big ones, one of my favorite cards, Fear of Missing Out. This will let us draw a card and discard a card, and if we have Delirium late in the game, we can actually get another combat step, which will allow us to trigger Caesar's ability multiple times in a turn. That's going to be huge for us. A couple of the other big ones, we definitely want a few of the Courts. The Courts are going to let us generate more tokens, and if we're the Monarch, those tokens are going to start off being really powerful, which means that if we have the small ones, they act as sacrifice fodder for Caesar's ability, or if we have the big ones, they're just another creature that we can use to chip away at Steven's life total. And then a couple of the other spicy picks we've got, one of my favorite cards from Bloomborough, Rotten Mouth Viper. If this card gets out of hand, there's almost no way to come back from it. Any amount of life that he's gained from food tokens is easily able to be taken away by this card's ability. We've gotten a lot of good ones. We're gonna go ahead and take some time to upgrade this deck, take out cards that aren't as optimal, and we'll go ahead and get started in the game as well. All right, so we're back in the studio. We've gone ahead and opened our Caesar deck. We've got the deck here as well as the man himself ready to be our commander. Now let's go ahead and go over some of the cards we picked up as upgrades. Not only do we have Maha, the key card that we grabbed from the showcases, but we also have Bitter Triumph, good removal, aforementioned Wandering Emperor. We've got one of the Courts, we've got Fear of Missing Out, the other Court, and then a couple of other good utility cards, the Rotten Mouth Viper, good land for us, good value creature, and a token enabler. All of this totals $49, so we're just under budget. All right, so immediately we want to find a good card to swap out for Maha. This is going to be one of our best cards. Thumbing through, it's pretty easy to go ahead and determine what card we're not going to be playing, and that is the secondary commander, Mr. House. We're not rolling any dice. This is not happening. He doesn't serve any purpose in the deck we're trying to do. If we were going to build Mr. House, we should have pulled out a lot more dice roll cards in the value bins, and honestly, I didn't see too many of those. So while Mr. House is one of my favorite characters from Fallout, we're gonna go ahead and pitch him and replace him with Maha. All right, next on the list that I wanna go ahead and find room for is going to be Charming Scoundrel. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the cards in our deck and see what we can swap out. Immediately, I'm called to this Ruthless Rad Rat. It's 1 mana more than the Charming Scoundrel, and has less of an impact on board unless you squat it. However, I'm not really going to want to exile 4 cards from my graveyard in order to get a couple more rats, so we're going to go ahead and take the Ruthless Rad Rat out and replace it with the Charming Scoundrel. Next up, we want to go ahead and find a spot for our 2 court cards that are going to help us by generating a ton of tokens. Let's go ahead and find something that's similar to the 4 mana value the courts are, and let's see if we can take that out and get those cards in there. One thing about these decks is that, specifically for Fallout and Universes Beyond as a whole, they tend to like to put a lot of different fluff cards in these commander decks that don't really match up with the commander strategy as a way of representing more of the IP. So there should be a few that we can rock on with. And look at that! One of the reasons we didn't grab the Bastion of Remembrance card from the case is because that version was the fancy version of the one that was already in the deck. So a good shout out, and I'm glad that we have access to this card as well. As for what we're going to go ahead and take out, let's see. We don't want to remove any of our artifacts here because these are going to make for good value, good mana ramp. All these cards are very good. We've got some utility lands. We'll go ahead and take out Aradesh the Founder. He's not a very good card, generally speaking, and I don't see him in a lot of upgraded precon lists, so we're going to take him out. We'll go ahead and put Court of Grace in its stead. And then we will go ahead and take out the Overseer of Vault 76. She's good in certain lists, but I don't think this is one of them. So that means we can both go ahead and put both courts in this list. And therefore, whenever we drop one of those cards, we'll have the opportunity to make tokens every single turn, which is really exciting. As for Fear of Missing Out, the next card in our stack, let's go ahead and... I'm thinking we'll go ahead and take out Yes Man Personal Securitron, one of my personal favorite cards from this deck. However, because this is only a 2-player game, Yes Man is not going to do nearly the amount of work he would at a 4-player pod, so therefore he's an easy cut, and we could put Fear of Missing Out into the deck. Going through what's next, I'm thinking the Mysterious Stranger is not going to do much work for us. This card is interestingly designed, but we're not really going to be focusing on whether or not we have instants and sorceries in the grave. Meanwhile, one of the cards we picked up, this Otter Wizard here, is going to provide us with some value should we choose to pay the Offspring cost. And if we do cast non-creature spells, all the copies of this Otter Wizard are going to deal 1 damage to our opponent. So that's going to create really good chip damage for us, something that we're going to be needing in this game. We definitely have to make room for Rotten Mouth Viper. That card is too good not to include. I think we're going to go ahead and cut some of the junk token synergy in the deck. Rose Cutthroat Raider is great if you're trying to have junk tokens in your deck, if you're focusing on that strategy, but without it, it's not really worth it. And it's 4 mana value, which is close to what we'll be paying for Rotten Mouth Viper whenever we get an opportunity to cast them. Next up is a legendary land, Minas Tirith, from the Lord of the Rings decks, and we'll go ahead and cut one of our not so good lands. There are plenty of lands that you can cut to replace with better lands in a precon. It's one of the first things you do when you upgrade a commander deck. So we're going to go ahead and cut, let's see. We'll get rid of this temple. I'm not huge on the temple cycle, and it doesn't really do much for us. Minas Tirith into the deck, and we currently only have 3 cards left that we need to make room for. We have Bitter Triumph, the Wandering Emperor, and Skitterbeam Battalion. Of these 3, I'm not so interested in Bitter Triumph. This was just another piece of removal that I thought might fit well in the deck. The Wandering Emperor is going to be key to our strategy if we need to quickly remove something that Steven plays. And then Skitterbeam Battalion, we're not going to be casting it for 9. We're going to be casting it for its alternative prototype cost of 5, 3 colorless mana, and 2 red. And that will let us generate 2 tokens that are copies of this guy, so we'll have 3 extra tokens to work with for Caesar's ability. So if we can go ahead and find a card to replace for the Skitterbeam Battalion, let's see. Looks like we're thumbing into lands here. We get to our face commander and our tokens. We'll go ahead and set those guys to the side. Let's see, let's start from the beginning. And this is one of my favorite processes when it comes to being a commander player, is getting the opportunity to look through your deck that you just bought and figure out what doesn't work for you, what you want to work for you, removing it and putting in cards that just make it better. As much as I like Boone as a character, the quest counter feature on these cards, a lot of the companion cards from a lot of the companion characters from Fallout have these quest counter mechanics. They don't do anything in this deck. They're made for the dog meat deck. So we'll throw that to the side and we'll replace it with the Wandering Emperor. Now still looking for a card for the Skitterbeam Battalion. Let's see. I know we're going to hit something. We want Deadly Dispute. We want Morbid Opportunist. We definitely want Pitiless Plunderer. General's Enforcer's too good. Heroic Reinforcement. Wear and Tear is good removal. Let's see. Do we cut a Talisman? I think that's trap. Let's not. We're going to go Sierra, Nuka's biggest fan. As much as I like this character, along with many others, and I do think that this is a decent card, this is going to work better for our token strategy. And as far as Bitter Triumph goes, I think we're going to go ahead and set that to the wayside. We don't really need the card. It's a decent pickup, and I can see why we would play it. But we know that because Steven is playing a Lord of the Rings precon, there won't be any Planeswalkers. So really, we don't need Bitter Triumph as much as I might have thought when we were looking through the value bins. That being said, let's go ahead and take a look. Oh yeah, we've got a lot of really good cards here. I'm excited to play these. Caesar is looking really powerful. So let's go ahead and review all the cards we cut from Caesar's deck. We will not be playing with Sierra. We will not be playing with the Bitter Triumph that we picked up. We're not playing with the Temple, Rose, Mysterious Stranger, Yes Man, Overseer of Vault 76, Aradesh the Founder, Ruthless Rat, or Mr. House. And we will be playing with all those cards that we found in the value bins here at Cards HQ. And I think we're ready for a showdown. Steven and I are here in the studio. Steven is playing Frodo and Sam. I'm playing Caesar. I have no idea what Steven has put in his deck, so now it's just time to go ahead and draw our 7 and figure out what he did. That being said, we rolled for who goes first, and Steven's going to start us off. Good luck to you, sir.
Good luck, Nick.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. All right.
4, 6, and 7.
Ooh. I got myself a crisp no-lander, so I'm going to go ahead and give this a quick shuffle. They're unsleeved, so you want to be a little careful, but we'll be fine.
You know, I think I have some stuff that I can make work here. I think I want to keep this.
Excellent. Uh-oh. And here we go. The whole world's watching me struggle to shuffle a deck. Anyway, go ahead and give me a quick cut. We've got our 7. All right. This is playable, so we're good. We'll be playing to 20 life as well. 2-player commander with 40 is a little much, so 20 it is for today.
I'll start us off, drawing for turn.
All right.
Play a force for land for turn, and I will pass turn.
All right, so we don't have a turn 1 Soul Ring we're facing, so that's good. I'll go ahead and draw as well. Cool. You know, that was a pretty good play of just playing a land and pass, so I think I'm going to do the same. I'm going to play an Isolated Chapel, taps for white or black. However, it comes in tapped if I don't control another plains or swamp. So, tapped it shall be. Pass to you, Steven.
All right. I'm tap up, keep draw. I will play a Woodland Cemetery.
Okay.
It enters tapped unless I control a forest or swamp.
I see that you do.
Then, which I do. And then I will tap for a green and colorless to play Farseek. Searching for a plains, island, swamp, or mountain card, putting it onto the battlefield, and then shuffling.
Farseek is a game changer now. That's
Oh.
pretty powerful.
Dang. I did not know that, actually.
Actually, I might be thinking of crop rotation. Either way, good card.
I believe you're thinking of crop rotation.
It might be in there too. I don't
It
know.
could be both. Yep, I will get a Canopy Vista.
Okay.
Yep, Forest Plains.
Sounds good. Okay.
If you would like to cut.
Yeah, for sure. Let's do it.
And with that, I will pass my turn to you.
Okay, we'll untap here. I'll draw a card. Let's see. Can I do anything exciting? The answer is likely no, and that's okay. We will go ahead. Yeah, here's what we'll do. We'll play a Path of Ancestry and pass.
Okay, gotcha. Untap. do my upkeep and my draw. I think I'm gonna start us off and be the first to get out one of my commanders.
Okay.
Sam,
nice.
Loyal Attendant. So he says at the beginning of combat on my turn, I get to create a food token, and activated abilities of my foods I control cost 1 less to activate. So I will go to combat. I will create myself a food token.
It's a food every turn. It's pretty nice.
Here we are. And with that, I will have to, I didn't play land for a turn. So going to my main phase 2.
Right.
I'll play a forest and pass.
Okay, sounds good. I'll untap the path. I'll draw a card. We will go ahead and let's see. I'll put down a mountain for turn. So we've got 3 mana available to us. Let's see. We'll go ahead and pay 3 to play a Thrill Kill Disciple. It has squad 1, but I only have 3 mana, so I will not be doing that, and I would have to discard a card, which we're not about right now. When he dies, I create a junk token. Pretty straightforward.
Nice.
He has Summoning Sickness, so no attacks will be happening. I will go ahead and pass the turn to you.
All right, I will untap, upkeep, and draw.
All right, what do you got for me, Steven?
I will tap for 2 and a green to pay Tireless Provisioner.
Okay. So good landfall card.
Yep. Whenever a land enters the battlefield, I get to create a food token or a treasure token.
All right.
I will play a forest for turn, triggering her to create a treasure token this time. I will use the treasure token, sacrificing that and tapping for white to play Frodo, Adventurous Hobbit.
Okay, cool.
He is Sam's partner, and then he has Vigilance, and whenever he attacks, if I've gained 3 or more life this turn, the ring tempts me. And then if Frodo is my ring bearer and the ring has tempted me 2 or more times this game, I get to draw a card. All right.
All right.
I will enter combat, creating a second food token with Sam,
Right.
and then I will declare an attack.
Okay. I'm not really interested in losing my Thrill Kill Disciple, especially considering that Sam will survive the attack if I block. So I will go ahead and take 2 to my life. So I'll go down to 18.
Sounds good. And I will pass my turn there.
Okay, sounds good. I will go ahead and untap my lands, draw a card. Interesting. Okay. As land for turn, we are going to go ahead and play a Desolate Mire. I pay 1, tap it, and filter for Orzhov colors. And then we will go ahead and... yeah. We'll tap 4 to cast Caesar. Caesar's out. Whenever I attack, I may sacrifice another creature, and when I do, I choose 2. I create 2 1/1 red and white soldier creature tokens with haste that are tapped and attacking. I draw a card and lose a life, or Caesar, Legion's Emperor, deals damage equal to the number of creature tokens I control to target opponent. Currently, that's not going to do much for us now, but we do have Caesar on our board for next turn. So that being said, I'll go ahead and pass to Steven.
All right. With that, I will untap my lands, my Sam, and upkeep draw. This is a nice combo here. So I will play Evolving Wilds,
Right.
create a treasure token, and then sacrifice Evolving Wilds to go search my land for a basic land. My library for a basic land. I said land for a basic land.
Seems pretty good. Tireless Provisioner is going to keep doing that until they're gone.
I will choose a plains to have entered tap.
Okay, and that's another treasure as well.
Treasure or food, but I will be choosing treasure.
Right, yeah, treasure or food, I should say.
If you would like to cut.
Sure, yeah, always. There you go.
Thank you.
For sure.
I will use one of my forests, tapping it, and sacrificing a food to gain 3 life.
All right, so Steven is at 23. I am at 18.
Yes, 23. Then I will enter combat, create another food, and Frodo will declare an attack. That means he, the ring bears, that means the ring tempts me.
All right, it looks like that's one of the tokens that you got with your deck.
Yep. I'll put that off to the side. There's so much to have with this.
You're making a lot of ancillary tokens and things. Foods, treasures, and now the ring's tempting you.
Yes.
Proper hobbit.
So, when Frodo has the ring, since he is just the first one, the ring bearer is legendary and can't be blocked by creatures with greater power.
Okay, sounds good. So I couldn't block it if I wanted to, because he only has 1. So therefore, I'm going to go ahead and take 1.
Gotcha. Okay, so then I will go to my second main phase here.
Second main is good.
I will tap for 3 mana and play out a Commander Sphere.
All right, good ramp, and you can sack it to draw a card. Very nice.
And I will end my turn there.
All right, there's a lot going on over there. Go ahead and untap, draw a card. Let's see. All right, so we'll go ahead and play Minas Tirith, untapped, because I control a legendary creature, so that'll be my lane drop for turn.
Nice.
And then we will go ahead. Let's see here. I've got a few options. But I think what I'm going to do. Not going to do that yet. We're going to go ahead and make some tokens. So we're going to tap for Path of Ancestry for a white. Then we're going to tap 4 to cast Secure the Wastes. So we'll go ahead and create 4 X equals 4 1/1 white warrior creature tokens. We'll go ahead and grab those tokens from here. There we go. So 4 1/1 warriors. We'll go ahead and put this die here to represent that we have 4 of them. Secure the Waste goes to my graveyard. Let's see, what do we want to do? So now we have a few options here. We're almost certainly going to trigger Caesar's ability this turn, and whenever we do that, we have the different modes to consider. Let's see. We can start chipping away. Start chipping away at that food life that you've been developing. You do have 2 foods up currently, which is interesting, and those can be cracked at instant speed. We'll go ahead and attack with Caesar, moving into combat. Attack with Caesar and the Thrill Kill Disciple. We'll sacrifice on trigger of Caesar's ability 1 of these tokens. And then we will, let's see. I think we'll go for the draw a card and lose a life here, just to get options for next turn. So we'll put a card in hand and lose 1 life, and you have a 4/4 and a 3/2 going at you.
You get to choose 2 modes.
Oh, do I? 2? All right. Well, that's awesome. Card's even better than I thought it was.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and create 2 tokens that are attacking. So you've got 2 1/1s, Caesar, and a Thrill Kill Disciple coming at you. So a 4/4, a 3/2, and 2 1/1s.
I will declare Sam to block the Thrill Kill Disciple.
Okay.
Frodo and Tireless Provisioner will each block one of the 1/1 Hasty Soldiers.
Okay.
And then, I hate to do this to you, but I'll tap for 1 black, a green, and go for the Throat on Caesar.
Okay. Caesar.
Destroying a target non-artifact creature.
Caesar goes back to the command zone. This is destroyed. Thrill Kill Disciple is defeated. On defeat, we create a junk token. All right, and a junk token. I can sacrifice it to exile the top card of my library, and I may play that card this turn. Both soldiers die, and Steven did some work. I'll go ahead and pass.
All right, I will untap. Upkeep and draw. Okay. I will spend 1 mana and a treasure, making a green and 1, to play a Prosperous Innkeeper.
Okay.
When Prosperous Innkeeper enters the battlefield, I get to create a treasure token, and whenever another creature enters the battlefield under my control, I gain 1 life. So there's that treasure back. I will use another forest to go ahead and sacrifice a food. Go up to 26 life. Then I will enter combat. Ooh. I will enter combat, creating another food, and then I will attack with Frodo, triggering the ring to tempt him again. So whenever the ring bearer attacks, I get to draw a card, then discard a card. Draw. I will discard Butterbur, Bree Innkeeper. And then if the ring has tempted me 2 or more times this game, I get to draw a card again.
Okay.
So you only have a 1/3 guy coming at you. It can only be blocked by creatures with 1 or less attack.
Okay. Fortunately, I do have a few of those.
I saw.
So one of those is going to be blocking.
Gotcha.
We'll move the card here. One of them is blocking.
Only 1? All right, sounds good. Take that off.
2 tokens now.
Go to main phase 2. And here, I will get to play one of my upgraded cards. For a white and a green, I can play Samwise Gamgee.
That's a pretty card.
Yes. I also got it from one of our showcases.
Excellent.
Whenever another token, non-token creature enters the battlefield under my control, create a food token. And then I can sacrifice 3 food tokens and return a historic card from my graveyard to my hand. All right. Would him entering trigger himself? I don't know.
It says another.
Another, yes, it does. Good. Should have read it further. I have 4 mana. And then I will pay a green, a white, and then 1 black, and sacrificing the 2 treasures for 3 mana in total with X equaling 3. I will play Farmer Cotton. When Farmer Cotton enters the battlefield, I create X 1/1 white halfling token creatures and X food tokens.
Seems pretty good.
So that was 4. So we'll go ahead and just make that a 6. And then where are my halflings? There they are. Sorry about that.
Bunch of halflings.
Boom. And that will be the end of my turn.
Okay, sounds good. Over to me. Untap, draw a card. Okay. So we're going to sacrifice the junk to exile this card to see what we get. Okay, we got a Securitron Squadron. I don't think I'm going to cast that. We're going to go ahead and pay 4 to cast the Nifted Lottery. I'm going to choose a creature at random. I gain control of that creature until end of turn. I untap it, and it gains haste until end of turn, then destroy all other creatures.
All right, so
let's see. How do we want to do this? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I believe these count too because they're random.
10.
10, 11, 12. Okay.
Do we have a D12 with us?
We do. Very conveniently.
Serendipity.
So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 actually. Or excuse me, this is a sorcery. My bad. 12. 11, 12.
And then whichever one it is, you gain control of it and everything else just dies, right?
Yes, it's a board wipe.
Yep.
All right, so that is a
1,
9.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then it was 8, 9, or is it 8, 9?
I believe it was 8, 9. We'll go for Farmer Cotton.
Farmer Cotton.
Farmer Cotton is the Nipton lottery winner.
Woo!
Everything else gets destroyed. All right, cool.
Dang.
I have a 1-1. Let's go. Very nice. Okay.
That doesn't destroy my artifacts, right?
No, just creatures. So you still have quite a number of foods.
Yep.
All right. I'll hit you for 1.
Oof. Gotta take that.
Brutal. All right. Steven is currently at 25 life, and I'm currently at 16. And I will pass the turn.
All right, I will untap.
And I do believe this goes back to you.
Sweet. Ooh, I get my 1/1 back.
He is stood up.
Get to untap, draw. Okay. For a green and a white, and X equals 6. Yeah, we'll say 6. I get to play Banquet Guests. They have an affinity for food, so meaning they cost 6 generic less.
Right.
And when with X equaling 6, Banquet Guest enters the battlefield with twice X +1/+1 counters on it. So, do you actually mind if I use that D12?
Sure. Here you go.
He's a 12/12.
So what this translates to is I have to destroy that immediately or else I lose.
I have to pay 2 extra for Frodo and Sam here. So let me do this. This is going to be a white, a black, and then that 2 generic for Frodo.
All right, and Frodo's out.
Yes. I will hit you for 1 as well.
Dang.
And pass my turn.
That 1 is what's really going to matter for sure. Okay, so we're going to untap our lands, draw a card. Let's see. I am going to need to be able to block is the big thing here. Or at least I'm hoping that'll be enough to get me there. So we're going to go ahead. We've got 5 mana. We haven't drawn a land for 2 turns, which is really brutal, especially when green has so much ramp available to them. I think we'll go ahead. We'll pay 2 here for a card that I picked up. Coruscation Mage, I believe is how you say it. It has an offspring cost of 2, so I will go ahead and do that as well. I now will create a token of it, and what it does is whenever I cast a non-creature spell, this creature deals 1 damage to each opponent. However, in this current situation, I just need blockers, so that's what they're going to function as. I don't have a 1 mana play currently, so I will go ahead and pass to you.
Great. I will do my untap. Upkeep and draw. I will play a swamp for land for turn.
Okay.
I will spend 3 generic and 2 white to play out a Call for Unity. So it says, creatures I control gain +1/+1 for each Unity counter on Call for Unity. And then at the beginning of my end step, if a permanent I controlled left the battlefield this turn, I put a Unity counter on it. So I will, before I go into a battle, I will sacrifice 1 food token, gaining 3 life back up to 28. And then I will enter combat, declare an attack with Frodo and the banquet guests. I have a few triggers with Frodo here.
Right.
So I get to, the ring tempts me again and says, whenever the ring bearer becomes blocked by a creature, that creature's controller sacrifices it at the end of combat. And then I get to draw a card, then discard a card. I'll discard this Ash Barrens, and then since the ring has tempted me twice this game, I get to draw again. All right, and I believe it goes to you for blockers.
Okay. Let's see. Banquet guest is staying up. Interesting. Okay. Sure. Yeah, we will. We can't block it, right? Because it has the ring tempting it at level 3.
Yep. So something that has to be 1 or less power, but then you would sacrifice it at the end of combat.
Right. So we don't have that. These are both 2/2s. So I will just take the 1.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay. I'm interested in why banquet guest is not attacking, but we're past that. So
Yes.
I'm alive. We're okay. we're still here. We might have it. We might be able to come back.
I'll pass to you.
Okay, sounds good. What are we gonna draw? All right. So this is not a land. We might be a little fried, and that's okay. Let's see. What are we going to do here?
Ooh, I also forgot to put a unity counter on call for
Oh,
unity.
yeah, for sure. Go ahead. That's part of
Yes.
it. That's no problem. Okay, so I've got 2 blockers. I've got 14 life. Currently, the banquet guest doesn't necessarily have a way of getting more counters, except from Call of Unity, but that would make it a 13/13. You could sacrifice it. You could sacrifice a food. Okay. We're really on the back foot here, but that's okay. Sure.
It's when legends are born.
I mean, we'll see. I don't know if that's going to be how it goes here. But we'll go ahead and cast Desdemona Freedom's Edge. Vigilance, when they attack, I'd target creature card in a graveyard that's an artifact, or has a mana value of 3 or less, gains escape, which means I can cast it from my graveyard. I do need to, as part of this condition though, I have to exile 2 other cards from my graveyard. That being said, that's probably not going to be relevant. The only target I currently have is Thrillkill Disciple, and I'm not really wanting to exile the other cards because there are some Delirium cards in this deck. Therefore, we will go ahead and I have to keep blockers up, so we'll go ahead and pass.
I will untap. Do my upkeep and draw. Play a land for turn.
Right.
Tap it for a green and a black to play Pippin, Warden of Isengard.
Very nice. One of my favorite characters.
And then for Selesnya, 1, 2, and 3, I will bring back Sam, Loyal Attendant.
All right. And we're back to where we were.
We must have all the hobbits together.
Almost all of them. Yeah, you're just missing, I think, one.
Mary.
Yeah, just missing Mary.
Before I go into combat, I will go ahead and crack open a food.
Understandable.
Gaining 3 life goes to 11.
At the beginning of the video, I said we were playing with 20 life. Steven is playing with 40. I'm playing with 20.
Enter combat, gain a food, and declare 2 attackers.
Okay.
My banquet guests and my Frodo Adventurous Hobbit.
Okay, so they're 12/12 with trample.
Technically right now a 13/13 because of the call.
Right, okay, so 13/13 with trample. I can block with Desdemona in order to stay alive. This one can't be blocked, so we're going to take one no matter what. Those are my blocks declared, just Desdemona blocking the banquet guests. Do you have anything else?
No.
Okay.
Would I would get everything else on this then.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well.
That's part of the ring bearer mechanic.
Draw this card, draw again. There we go. And Then if when the ring has finally tempted me 4 times, which it has, whenever the ring bearer deals combat damage to a player, each opponent loses 3 life.
Okay, so I will actually be going down to exactly, I think that's exactly lethal, isn't it? Because this is, no, I have 1 life because this has 4. So this will deal 9. This will deal 1.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Yeah, we're fine. We're fine. We're alive. We're fine.
Gotcha.
The math was tricky. Math is for blockers. The math was tricky in my head, but I think we're fine. We're probably good. It wouldn't make any sense to also chump block over here because I can't get rid of it. So therefore, I think we're just going to go for Desdemona to block here.
Wait, so actually, Frodo would be a 2/4, so you would be able to block him.
Okay, Frodo
Correct.
would be a 2/4 from the Call of Unity. Call for Unity, right?
Call for Unity.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess that also does change the math.
Sure. So that would mean I take 9 life for the turn if I block it. I'll block with the 2/2.
Sounds good.
Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and apply combat damage. This 2/2 will perish. Desdemona will perish, and I will take from the trample. I will take 9
Yes.
to the face. I'm on 5. Pretty much, I need to draw a board wipe, or the game is over.
I will end my turn there.
All right. Let's untap.
I'm getting a second counter on Call for Unity.
Right. Draw. Okay. Well, it's an interesting card that I drew, but I don't think it will get me there. We're just going to go ahead. We're going to go ahead and just play a few cards, tapping this for red, or excuse me, tapping this to filter, and for red. Boomer Scrapper. And that's all I got. Take it away, Steven. Secure your victory.
I will untap, go to my upkeep, and then draw.
I don't think a main phase is relevant here.
No. I do want to, though. I'm sorry if this is VM. I do just want to get. I did draw Mary, so I do want to get Mary out.
All right, that's the best way to end the video, I think.
And then Banquet Quests will swing in to finish you off.
And that's all we got to do. GG, Steven.
GG's, Nick.
All right. And so that was our $50 challenge video. As you can see, green is a very powerful color, and Steven made some very good upgrades to his deck to make it work. Our deck did not get there, but I sure did have a lot of fun going through our value bins, grabbing cards to make our decks better, and maybe we can revisit this deck at some point to see if we can punch it up even more and hopefully get the win on the rematch. That being said, if you're looking to grab any of these precons or cards from us here at Cards HQ, go to cardshq.com for all of your Magic the Gathering cards, boxes, and supplies. Thank you for joining us for this video. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Amazing! Rob, to be clear, that was the very worst game of Commander that you could ever witness. That was a slaughter. that was about as bad as it could go.